prove that the greatest integer function that is mapped from R to R given by f of x is equal to, how do you read this? Greatest integer of x, or you call it as step of x. Okay, I'll tell you what is the meaning of this. Is neither a 1 1 nor onto. Right? Can someone define what this greatest integer function is all about? Let's take a number for instance. Okay, I take a number 1.2 and I put a box around this and ask you what is the answer for it. What will you say? How did you get it? Nearest number. Minus 1.2. Minus 2 or 1 now? Sure. Okay, minus 2. But how did you get it? Okay, so but actually let's see what is the meaning of it. Whenever you take a decimal number, right, it can always be broken into two parts. What are they? It can be broken into the integer part and the fractional part. 0.2. 0.2 is 2 by 10. Right, generally fractional part of x is written within this kind of a bracket. Right? So basically, if you take a number x, that will be the integer part plus the fractional part. Right? So what is that we are supposed to take? We are supposed to take the greatest integer among it. Right? So it is going to be the greatest integer among these two. This decimal, it's not an integer, so answer is 1. Okay, accepted. But for minus 1.2, answer should be minus 1 minus 0.2. No? Using the same logic, it should have been minus 1 minus 0.2. Then what should have been the greatest integer? But you told minus 2, no? You're still not confident on yourself. With what should be less than? Greatest integer less than or equal to x, sir. Okay, so minus 1 is greater than minus 1.2. Is that what you're trying to say? So that is the reason why it should not be taken. There's minus 1. Minus 1 is greater than that. Okay, that's his reason. Yeah, that's what the definition says. But one thing is, for a negative number, whenever you are breaking it into the integer part and the fractional part, whenever you want to find the greatest integer, you need to ensure that the fractional part is always positive. Meaning, I wrote it as minus 1 minus 0.2. Here the fractional part is negative. I should make it as minus 2 plus 0.8. So then this would be the greatest part. Okay, this is just a different perspective. What you told is absolutely right. From the definition, what you told is right. But some places you will have to split and write it. At the time, you need to have clarity. Am I clear with this? Right. So for this kind of a function, they are saying that it is neither 1 1 nor onto. Meaning, see, if I plot it on a graph sheet, Tejas, can you tell me how will the graph look like? Okay, let's try to plot and see. For 0, greatest integer of 0, 0, greatest integer of 0 0.1, 0.2, till 0.99999 something. So where will it change to 1? Exactly at 1. Right? So till then, the answer is going to be something, the graph is going to be a line which is aligned with the x-axis. Exactly at 1, what will happen? Exactly at 1, what will happen? The graph will shift to 1. Meaning, you need to put an open circle like this. So this open circle is generally representation of point of discontinuity. Have this in your mind. See, here and there I'll be combining calculus also. So have this in your mind. What is it called as? So wherever you have a discontinuous point, you need to put an open circle. Right? So at this point, what is happening? It is jumping to 1. So the graph will be a horizontal line till which point? Till 2. At 2, what are you supposed to do? Open circle, point of discontinuity. Then 3 till 4. Similarly, here at the bottom, what will happen? 0 to minus 1. So I should draw it like this. No, no. Okay. Then how should I draw? Tell me. So below the x-axis. So what will be the first point where it will start? So where will that open circle be? At 0 it will be there, no? Here it will be there? Correct? Huh? On the left of it, what will you say? Then here you will have a break. Here. So is it not looking the form of step? That's why we call it a step of x also. Okay, some books refer it, but most of the places will see it as greatest integer only, right? Having said this, is the graph not clearly telling us two things? What is it? 1 1 function. Is it a 1 1 function? No, because more than one real number has the same output. For example, till 0 to 0.99999, what is the output? It is 0 only. So multiple inputs have same output. It's not a 1 1 function. What about onto? Why is it not onto? The discontinuity will give you the answer. What is the reason? There are no real numbers except integers which have a pre-image. Whatever you substitute as a value, whatever real number you put inside this operation of square box, right? What is the output you are getting? You are always getting an integer. Integer is only a subset of the real number. So in codomain set, are you able to get any fractional parts? Obviously no. So not all the elements in the codomain except integers have a pre-image associated in the real number system. That is the reason. Hence it's not an onto function. Clear? No? Right? Please make a note. Show that the modulus function f map from R to R given if f of x is equal to mod x is neither 1 1 nor onto, where mod of x is x if x is positive or 0 and mod of x is negative of x if x is negative. So everybody knows the definition of this. F of x is equal to mod x, right? How do you define it? You will write it as positive x if x is greater than or equal to 0. You write it as negative of x if x is less than. How can modulus be negative? Everywhere modulus means that is how you learn, no? It cannot be negative. Then why are we writing negative value? Because when you have a negative value of x here, what is it you're doing? See, when I say modulus of minus 0.2, the meaning of it is the output you will write it as 0.2. But how did you get this 0.2? You got negative of this negative 0.2. So that is why it is plus 0.2. So hence you should not confuse that there is a negative number. X itself is a negative number. So this definition is right. Having said this, how is the graph going to be for this? What is the shape of a modulus functions graph? So it is going to take the shape of a V. So what happens is y is equal to x. What shape does it take? It's a straight line passing through the origin, making an angle 45 degrees with respect to the x-axis. What about negative of x? It is also a line passing through origin, making an angle of 135 degrees with respect to x-axis in the anti-clockwise direction. So what shape does it take? It takes a V shape. So this is a graphical way of proving, where you can say if you draw a horizontal line, it is going to cut the curve at more than 2 points. Sorry, more than 1 point. Yeah. So that is the case. Then how are we going to prove using those steps? So you will take x1 comma x2 belongs to R. F of x1 is equal to f of x2. So mod x1 is equal to mod of x2. Then what will be the value of x1? X1 will be equal to plus or minus x2. So two values have the same input, same output. Hence, it's not a 1 1 function. What about an onto function? So if you look at the graph itself, you can see a function is mapped from real numbers to when I say real number, right? What is the actual range of it? It goes from minus infinity to plus infinity, right? So the domain is minus infinity to plus infinity, means x values take. But what is the range? Range is actually 0 to infinity. Range is 0 to infinity. Is the range equal to the codomain? No. Hence, it's not an onto function. See, there are multiple ways in which you can say. Or what is the other way in which you say? We regularly keep telling that the negative elements in the codomain set, the negative real numbers in the codomain set do not have a pre-image in the domain set. You will write y is equal to mod x. So when you write y is equal to mod x, whether you are going to substitute a positive value or a negative value, what is going to happen? So y will be taken as plus or minus x, no. So here what will happen? X will be plus or minus y. So from this, the only option left out is you need to apply the logic and see. Modulus function, since it's always giving you a positive value, what will you say is there is no value of y that belongs to R minus. R minus means negative real numbers, which has a pre-image associated in the real numbers. That is the only option. Am I clear? See, is it tough? I just want a feedback. Is this chapter tough? Like, how are you finding it? I need a feedback to understand if I have to change something. Is you're able to manage, like you're able to see, this is the only chapter where you have this much of theory. Okay. So next chapter onwards, mostly it will be like formula, you will be able to solve it on your own, trust me on that. Because I have not yet come to composition of functions and inverse. I'm worried about it. Are you able to solve it on your own till here?